You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 158. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action today. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and I'm excited to share my stories and life lessons with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and we are really wrapping up the year. I can hardly believe that we are in the middle of December. Things are coming to a close. If you're like me, you're thinking about 2023. What kind of goals are you setting? What is yet to come? You might be thinking about how you're going to pause during this holiday season. Are you watching all of the holiday movies? Are you just relaxing? Do you have activities planned with the kids? In our house, we have a list of Christmas movies that we watch every year. We have to start around Thanksgiving in order to get through them. Otherwise, we have found in years past that Christmas will be done and we still have Christmas movies to watch to get through our list. So we start early. And with the kids, we have an advent calendar. I grew up having one. And the difference is, though, that the advent calendar I grew up with had a piece of candy every single day. That was what you got. My mom recently gave my kids each an advent calendar, and they each get a piece of chocolate every day. That is not what is in the advent calendar that we have traditionally at home here. It's a little house, and every day has a door that opens up, and we try to fill it with activities. It's usually a surprise. Some of them are traditions like visiting Santa, going to see lights, making cookies for the neighbors. And so for me, it's all about experiences this month. I try to take time every single day to do something that's memorable, that prepares us for this Christmas season, this holiday season, and what it really means. And that it's not just about presents giving and receiving, but about togetherness. And so that's what we're instilling in our house. And this is also a time for a lot of us, especially if you're a business owner, to start reflecting on the year past. What has transpired? What has been accomplished? What's going to propel you for more goals? So earlier this week, I was on Twitter because I'm there multiple times a day. And my good friend, MG, Michelle Garrett, who's been on the show before, she tweeted out that she was featured recently in an interview that asked, what is your biggest accomplishment as a business owner? And her answer hit me. It made me think I need to do a podcast episode around what my accomplishments are this year. But here's what her answer was. Staying in business all these years, surviving through several recessions, learning and continuing. It's really about the long game and staying consistent. And it's kind of funny because I just got off a call with a prospective client who said that next month she is launching her business. And I thought to myself, wow, that's incredible. She is launching a business. How nerve-wracking that must be. She's got a new website. And then it hit me, yeah, I did that too. And I honestly don't give myself enough credit that I've been there, that I launched a business. And so I get what Michelle's saying is that the biggest accomplishment in having a business is simply having one and continuing to have one. And I chuckle because I truly was sitting here relishing in the fact that this woman was launching her business next month and how incredible it is, because it truly is, while forgetting that I have done that. And I did that 5 years ago as of next year. And I've continued to grow that business. So I want to talk today about what my accomplishments that I feel were the biggest in 2022. And we can start with the business-wise because it has continued to grow. I more than doubled my business revenue this year. I'm in the six figures and I'm very proud of it. And it took time to get here. But I want to remind you all that I started with two tiny humans at home and I started small on purpose. I wanted to build and ramp up to the point that I'm at today. And I knew that if I did that while they were still at home, that when the day came where they were both in school, I'd have this full focus on my business, but I wouldn't be starting from scratch. So to have hit these milestones of not only being in business for 4 years, but for hitting a financial goal, that's a really big deal. This year, I made more this year than I did in my largest year in corporate aviation. So I'm very, very proud of that. It tells me that I don't need to go back to the corporate lifestyle. I don't need a corporate job because I can do this on my own. I've also had a lot more free time. I enjoy what I'm doing so much. I love the people that I'm working with. And these are all part of the accomplishments for me in 2022. I would say that my biggest accomplishment is the fact that I'm still alive. And we can all remember in July, I had a pulmonary embolism. It put me in the hospital for a week, and I was within days of dying. So for me, that's a huge accomplishment. I not only listened to my body and what I needed to do to survive, but I did it. And I continue to survive, thrive, and to live a healthy lifestyle. I'm paying more attention to the important things in life, getting rid of the negativity, saying no more. And I'm really focused on that. So to me, that's a big accomplishment. Not only am I still in business after 4 years and it's growing, but I've also been taking extended breaks. I look back at when did I pause in business? Well, the business didn't pause itself. When did I go away? And when you have children, they have certain breaks from school, random vacations, a winter break, a spring break, a ski break, a summer break, all of these different kinds of breaks, even a fall break. So I took probably a good 6 weeks off this year, and I never did that when I worked in corporate. We went to Hawaii. We went on a sledding vacation. I went to Necker Island. I was in the hospital for a week. These were all times away from my business, and yet my business didn't suffer. And to me, that's a huge accomplishment. I've gotten better at delegating. Thank you, Tiffany, for all of your hard work and helping. And I'm looking forward to growing the team even more next year. But that was part of what allowed me to take this time off, whether it was necessary and needed or simply something that I wanted to do. So again, these are what I feel accomplished. It may not be the same for you. So I don't want this episode to be any comparison of anything at all. I want it to be my reflection of what I've accomplished and what feels good to me. And I want you to take that time to think about the same for you. Other things that I have accomplished this year was that I dove into learning more about local politics, big politics on the nationwide, landscape, but really here at home and getting to know what it is to be in city politics, council members, what it takes to lead a campaign, to help with one, to canvass, to follow someone that I believe in and to spread the word about him as a mayoral candidate. And this was a big deal for me because I didn't know all of the ins and outs. I also involved my kids, and they know now what goes into politics. They've seen the dirty side because that can't be avoided when you are involved in a campaign. But they've also seen what a good politician looks like, what it means to run a clean campaign, what it means to send out mailers that don't put down and strip away another person, but what it means to have someone who is on your side. So for me, that's very, very important. I also wrote a book. Yes, I wrote a book. I am in the final stages of editing it. I landed a literary agent. She is pitching it right now to publishers. but I wrote a book that is well over 55,000 words. So I believe that translates to almost 200 pages in a regular book that you would pick up. And that's a big deal. I don't think that I reflect on that one enough. I was talking to my girlfriend Karen the other day, and she was telling me, you need to really freaking pause. Pause and think about this. You wrote a book. And that's a big deal. That's something that's been on my list for many, many years, especially as someone who is an avid reader. I treasure books. Autographed books are like truly my biggest treasure in the world. And to have written one that I hope to hold in my hands in the next year is a really big deal. And I'm smiling and taking it in as I'm saying those words, because I know they're not to be taken lightly. I worked really hard on putting my thoughts to paper, to sharing everything that I know with people who are going to read it, and to make sure that it comes across clearly, that you'll be able to mimic what I do by reading this book, which is huge because I hope that it changes lives. And that was one of my goals, was to write a book that changes lives. And you might be going, well, how is it that a book on podcast pitching and guesting is going to change lives? But let me tell you, it's your story. Your story is what changes the lives of those who listen to it. And my book is going to teach you how to pitch podcasts so that you can share your story and ultimately change lives of the listeners. So it's a big, big deal. I think it's a big deal. I hope you think it's a big deal. I'll say it even more. Another big thing, who can forget, I spent a week with Sir Richard Branson. I stayed on Necker Island for a week with 30 other women from around the world, and I sat with Richard Branson. We had dinner, we went on excursions. It was so memorable. We went on boats, we went on a pirate ship. There was all kinds of things, but what an accomplishment it is that I received that invitation, that I got myself there, that I got there without COVID, came back without COVID. So that's a whole accomplishment in and of itself. But that I spent this time with someone who has made so much, not just for himself and for his businesses, but has done so much good in the world. And to have sat down at dinner and to have him recognize the good that I want to do in this world, the purpose I want to have, that's a very big deal. And it's very touching. And as I'm saying all of this, I'm really grateful that I'm taking a moment to reflect on all of this. And I think it's a good practice because I personally don't reflect the way that I should, and pause and really take in the monumental moments that are happening throughout my life, throughout our everyday life, throughout our years. So that was a big moment for me. And I have pictures now to remember it all by, but to remember the words that were said to me and to recognize how huge it is and is definitely a big accomplishment. I have recorded, this is the 41st podcast of the year. Podcast episode. I've done interviews. I've had some amazing, amazing guests on this year. And I know that next year is going to bring even more. So I'm excited about it. I didn't reach my annual goal of 52 podcast episodes every year because I had to take some time off. And that's also an accomplishment, is to recognize when you need to stop. And whether you call it a stop or a pause, you just need to be where you are in the moment and to be okay with it. And I used to batter myself of, I've got to get an episode out. I've got to record. The people are waiting. I need to get it out. And yet I recognize that it's more important that I take a moment for whatever I need to get done, whether that's my health, whether it's my business or my family, but to focus on where I need to focus in that moment first and foremost. So 41 episodes, not too shabby in 12 months. The business side, we've booked over 250 podcast interviews for clients in the last 11 months. That number continues to grow, and it's only going to grow more next year. But that's a big deal. It's not some huge agency running machine with, robots or throwing spaghetti on the wall. Those are interviews where every pitch was personalized. So those are the ones we booked. We sent out many, many more emails that everything is unique. Like I said, there's no spaghetti thrown on the wall. Every podcast is listened to. Every email is personally addressed. What resonates with us, why our clients are good fits for these shows. And so to have landed that many and be really a two-person team right now. It is Tiffany and I, and we will be growing next year. But for two of us to have done that, it's pretty incredible. And I'm very, very proud of us. I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the clients that we work with and to see what is coming out of all of this, because it's not just booking a show, doing the interview and being done. Much more comes out afterwards. After the content is repurposed, when more interviews are booked because of it, when features in magazines come out because of it, when new jobs have been offered because of it. These are all big accomplishments that tie back to what we do and what we do every single day with our clients and for our clients. So I'm very, very proud of those. All of those interviews, all of the ones to come, the pitches that have been sent, and what 2023 has in store for us, because we have more clients coming on board. We have more podcasts that are going to be pitched. And so it's exciting. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of content to be created, but there's a lot of growth that's going to happen. And so I'm really, really looking forward to 2023, to what's going to happen for me personally, business-wise, anything else that might include. And I'm looking forward to what it includes for you, whether you have a word that you're focusing on for the year. I haven't even thought about that yet, so don't ask for what my word is. Or you have goals, whether it's financial goals that you want to hit certain targets, or you want to land so many interviews. What are those? What does that look like? What does December 2023 look like to you for you to say that you've accomplished something big? I'm going into 2023 with high hopes of a book deal, with growing the business. If I can more than double it again, then holy shit. Yes. To adding more team members, to speaking more, not just on my own show, but on other shows. What will that look like? Will there be a TED Talk? I don't know. Who else will I meet and have on the show? Those kinds of relationships that I want to build. So I am really excited about 2023, but I'm very grateful for all that 2022 has brought. And I hope that you take some time to reflect on what are the big moments of 2022 for you? What were those accomplishments? What did they entail? What are you going to take from them to bring into the new year? Whether it's a resolution, a goal, or simply that state of mind that you want to continue to be in. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you what your big accomplishments were for 2022. And until next time, my friends, happy holidays and cheers to a new year.